Hi, Assalamualaikum. A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to our Grand 69 meeting for our new project, Oil Chemical Factories for Sabah and Sarawak. I hope you all are fine and ready to reading our brain for this upcoming awesome project. Let me to introduce our main chair for this company. Firstly, I am Syafiq Irfan and I'm your CEO for IOI Group Berhad. Today, we also have our finance manager, Mr. Idlan Hisham, our shareholder, Mr. Adham, our new investor is also here, Mr. Danial Zikri, and welcome to our top management for our company. Now, I would like to present our planning for this wonderful project. Firstly, our financial manager will start to present our financial statement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. CEO. Here we have the financial statement. As you can see, it is well balanced, and you can see here the sales for 2020 has increased, and we have a higher profit in the year 2020 than the year 2019.
Based on the financial statement presented by financial manager, 2020 is still profitable and overall company performance is good.
Continuing on with the financial ratio in the year 2020 and 2019, we have here the liquidity, activity, leverage and profitability ratio. As you can see, we have a lot of increasement but also decreasement in the year 2020. Any question for anyone?
First of all, thanks for having me today. I'm really glad. As the one of shareholder in IOI Corporation Berhad, I intend to contribute to the company as usual. But for this year, I'm still not made any decision yet. So can I get a clarification about the company's liquidity and do the firm able to pay on time? Do the firm able to pay for its short-term obligation?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shareholder. For your information, the current ratio for the company has 2 ringgit and 66 cents of current asset to cover every 1 ringgit of current liability. For the quick ratio, the company quick ratio is 2.9 times, that make it above 1 time. For the net working capital, the company has a positive net working capital, suggesting that it is liquid and able to pay the short-term obligation.
Thank you very much for the financial presentation. As you already know, I am an individual investor and I am looking forward to making an investment in this company. I would like to see the profitability ratio for 2020 and also the effectiveness of this company.
Okay, thank you for your question. For your information, the profitability ratio for 2020, the net profit margin that is positive but low in 2020. For every 1 ringgit of sales, the company can only make 8 cents as net profit. For the gross profit margin, the company can generate 21.27 times percent gross profit margin from its sales in 2020. That is around 2 cents for profit every sales made. For operating profit margin, the company profit margin is quite high in 2020 at 13.21%. For the return on equity is very good since there is around 3 cents profit for every 1 ringgit of investment in the company's equity. For the returning on asset, the company is able to generate around 6 cents of profit margin for every 1 ringgit of investment in asset.
How about the dividend for shareholder? Do the firm able to pay on time?
For your information, Mr. Shareholder, the dividend will be given at the same time as the previous years.
Thank you, finance manager, for your good presentation just now. For your own knowledge, it will be meeting at the CIMB Bank representative next week.
May I know about the benefit of the new project?
And when will this project begin?
The project can begin progress when the bank approve our loan proposal. For your knowledge, the benefit of the project is we able to supply more products in a short time. Besides, it's easier to trade with neighboring countries like Brunei, Indonesia, and Philippines. We also can bring in more potential investors for our company. So, we will break for 30 minutes. Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to our meeting. Do you have made your own decision or any comment from our guests?
I have no objections. I think we should proceed with our project.
From my observation that the financial manager has presented, I can see that the current ratio for 2020 is lower than the previous year, which is it was recorded 2.66 times, which is lower than 3.92 times recorded by 2019. So do with the quick ratio, which is recorded lower than the previous year, which is 2.09 times compared to 3.27 times. And due to the COVID-19 crisis, I understand that it may affect the entire economy in financial. So therefore, IOI Corporation is still able to pay for its short-term obligation, which is still considered good.
Okay, as I can see, the net profit, gross and operating margin are all better at 8.09%, 21.71% and 13.21% respectively, compared to 0.95%, 15.98% and 6.86% for the last year's ratio. The return on assets and the return on equity are also higher at 3.77% and 6.79% respectively, as compared to last year 0.42% and 0.75%. This shows that the company was able to generate higher profit from its sales, as well as generating higher returns from its asset and equity investments. And it also shows that the company is more profitable and generates higher returns than its previous year. Overall, the profitability ratio of IOI Corp for the year 2020 is way higher than the previous year, which is 2019. This confirms that the company has recorded a better performance under all measures.
Thank you, new investor, for your comment. Dear shareholder, do you want to hold or buy or share your shares?
Based on the overall performance, dividend and liquidity ratio, I will hold my share, and I'm looking forward for the progress of the new project. And I'm also intend to buy more in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Adham, for your comment. Proud to have you as a loyal shareholder. Dear new investor, do you like to buy our shares?
As an investor, I tend to look at the profitability ratio first, which is excellent. The company's performance is good even though we are in a pandemic. I will buy the company's shares when the bank has approved the company's loan, and I am looking forward to the project and hopefully buy more shares in the future.
Thank you, new investor. Pleasure to deal business with you. Thank you all for attending our Grand 69 meeting for our new project. Hopefully, you all can meet for the next year annual meeting. We are gonna inform the project progress as soon after the loan is approved.
Assalamualaikum. Welcome to CIMB Bank Berhad. I'm Alif Afifi as a bank representative. I have made some time to arrange the meeting today with our counterparts from IOI Corporations. Besides, we are glad to finally be doing business again with you. To kick off, may I know the reason why you came here?
Nice to meet you, Mr. Alif Afifi. I'm Idlan Hisham, the financial manager who is trusted by IOI Group CEO to submit a loan proposal to be approved by CIMB Bank for a new project.
Okay. Can you show me the planned project of the company?
Okay, for your information, this is our planned project. The total budget we need is around 50 million ringgit. Based on our financial situation, we ask to pay back the loan in 5 years' time.
How about the performance of the company for the financial statement for a 2-year period, which is 2019 and 2020? This is for the review of the companies, whether it is eligible or not, especially during this pandemic.
Okay, then this is the company financial statement, and here is the ratio for 2020 and 2019.
May I know the explanation for these ratios?
Okay, for the leverage ratio, the debt ratio, the company obtains 13.2% of its source for financing from debt. For the debt equity ratio, the company used less debt than equity as a source of financing. For long-term debt equity, the company used low amount of long-term financing debt as a source of financing. For the time interest earned, the company is able to cover its interest payment by 5.92 times using the operating income.
Can we go through for the efficiency ratio for the company in
Okay.
2020?
Okay, for the activity ratio, the inventory turnover, the company can roll over its inventory by 5.9 times in the year 2020. Day to sell inventory, the company takes around 61.14 days to clear up its inventory in 2020. The average collection period, the company takes 27.38 days to recollect the receivable from its debtor in 2020. For the average payment period, the company takes 16.39 days to repay its debt to the creditors in 2020. For the fixed asset turnover, the fixed asset could be used to generate 0.61 times more sales. For every 1 ringgit of investment in fixed asset could generate around 61 cents in sales. For the total asset turnover, the company asset could be generate around 0.47 times more sales. For every 1 ringgit of investment in asset could generate around 47 cents in sales.
Based on my observations, the company's leverage is generally better than an average industry. There was a slight increase in the debt ratio from 8.04% to 13.02%, but overall, the debt ratio is still looking good. Surprisingly, the only flaw is that the company's debt to equity ratio in 2020 has increased from 114.57% to 119.41%. It is higher compared to last year. This could also mean that the company used more debts than equities as a source of financing. In terms of long-term debt to equity, the company is much better than the average industry, which is only 43.03%, lower than last year, which is 47.78%. Meanwhile, for times interest earned, the company's ability to service for interest payments is also much higher at 5.92 times in 2020 as compared to 2.78 times in 2019. So far, the firm is getting better in meeting their interest payment obligations. Moving on to the activity ratio, the company's efficiency has decreased and is a bit worse under measures of the industry average. Firstly, the firm is less efficient in managing inventories in 2020 compared to 2019, from 7.75 times to 5.89 times only. Furthermore, the time taken for the company to sell off the inventories is also longer than last year, from 46 days to 61 days. Besides, the company also takes 27 days more to recollect the receivable from its debtor in 2020. Meanwhile, in 2019, it only took 21 days instead. The company also makes payment quite late in 2020 as compared to 2019, which are from 14 days to 16 days. And lastly, IOI Corporation Berhad is able to generate more sales from fixed and total assets turnover in 2020, which are 0.61 times and 0.47 times as compared to 0.59 times and 0.45 times in 2019. Overall, anything to support your ratio?
To support the financial ratio in 2020, we have a lot of liability due to a lot of borrowing because of the pandemic. To add more to that, in 2019 and 2020 is the fall of crude palm oil prices, as you can see. But in the year 2021, the price has skyrocketed into an all-time high. Based on the income statement, the sales and earnings for 2020 has increased from 2019. Nevertheless, the company still performed even though all of this problem occurred. That proof we can still pay our debt to the bank.
I see that. I think we can approve your company loan proposal, but at the same time, the company needs to pay for 7 years rather than 5 years with fixed interest. And may I know, can the company pay the interest?
If our project succeed, we are able to pay the interest, but if not, we can sell a portion of our asset to pay for it.
Okay. As for that, I accept II company's loan proposal and I will send the approval letter to the higher up after this. I hope that we can see through the progress of the project and I'm glad to do business with you. Thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you to you too, Mr. Alif Afifi. I will inform the CEO right away.